Ain't nobody worried about Chris Paul when we play Phoenix Suns. Nobody in the NBA.
But what did I just say, though?
And I'm just letting you know how NBA players feel and think.
I believe you, but what I'm saying
He's finessed the game to a point where he gets all the petty calls, all the swipe throughs at the end. I mean, this guy is out, man. We gonna be honest? We want to be really honest?
Yes.
He should have fouled out. He should have fouled out. The last game, too. You see the replay against Brunson, hit him on the shoulder, hit him in the mouth, ref don't call anything. If that's me, review it. Flagrant one. If that's him, they don't call it. So let's not get it twisted, man. He should have fouled out. He can't guard. He literally can't guard.
He can't guard.
Yeah.
He can't. Chris Paul can't guard anybody? Is that what you say?
Did you see that? No, he can't. Everyone knows that.
Excuse me. No. I don't know that. I haven't heard anybody tell me that.
Because you haven't suited up. You know, guys don't like to tell you all the truth. You know that. Because they scared what you going to take with it.
No, he's right about that. They will lie. He's honest. They will lie. That is true. He's not lying about that.
CP can't guard nobody, man. Everybody in the NBA know that. Everybody know that.
Guard anybody.
What we call them? Cone. You know what you do with cones? Like when in the summertime, you got a cone. You make a move. What does the cone do?
Stay still.
Exactly. Yeah. He's a cone. Stop playing, man. Everybody knows that. Everyone knows that. It's just y'all don't want to accept it because.
No, I don't accept that. No. I'm saying again, if you're taller than them, you can shoot over him. Obviously, that's an issue.
But give him the Ben Simmons slander. Give him the PG 13 slander. Give him the slander that you give everybody. Come on, Steve.
Woo. So I loved it. And it was like, wow, Patrick Beverley coming hard, and it's good to finally see someone. And he's a current NBA player. He's in that fraternity still. I thought that was amazing. Matt Barnes, former NBA player. I think he's been out of the league since 2017, 2018, or as Kwame calls him, Becky with the good hair. Matt Barnes had a completely different take. I think we have that. Matt Barnes went on ESPN the next day or later that day and attacked Patrick Beverley.
Chris Paul is obviously going to take a lot of the blame. As Ramona said, and as Chris knows, he didn't play well from games 3 to 7. He played terrible, and he'll tell you that. But what I want to touch on real quick, RJ, is the disrespect I saw from Pat Beverley earlier today. You know, as reporters, as part of the media, we have a job to be critical, but I think there's a thin line between being critical and disrespecting. And I feel like what Pat Beverley did today to Chris Paul was completely disrespectful and out of the line. And Pat Beverley's talking like he's that guy. You're not that guy. Plain and simple. Chris Paul played terrible this year, and his numbers are still better than your career numbers have ever been. So I just think you have to understand, Chris is a 12-time All-Star. He played terrible. First time, all defense 9 times, 7 times first team all defense. He'll be a Hall of Famer. Pat Bev and I were similar type role players. They don't talk about us when we go. They're going to talk about CP3 when he's done. And I just think the disrespect we saw earlier today on the ESPN show need to be checked because he was way out of pocket.
Yeah, no, you know that there's energy between those two. Like we've seen the push in the back. We know about all that. And yeah, sometimes when you're in this position, it can be difficult to separate professionalism versus competitiveness.
All he needed was the red clown nose because he was out there talking like a clown today. And I just think, to me, again, the CP is a legend in this game. Again, we were role players in this game. So have some respect for guys. He did play terrible. He'd be the first one to tell you. But the shots that Bev took today were just out of pocket. I know no one else is going to tell him that, so I'm going to tell him
that. Whose team you on here? Who you siding with? Pat Beverley or Matt Barnes?
Well, I'm part of the Bev hive because he was more petty than Richard and Tom combined. But this is the point that I want to make, and I know me and you get this all the time. Have you ever done it? Did you ever play the game? Well, here's the thing. Patrick Beverley played the game. He's been a long-time pro. He's very effective in his role. Now, I agree with Matt Barnes. We are role players, so we kind of know the hierarchy of where our status is. But this is the hypocrisy of the public and even players who always question our credentials or any credentials or the veracity of what media says about players. So you can only criticize if you're at that level. So that literally means by that standard, only Michael Jordan can really make a critique of a player. Because then it becomes a game, well, wait a minute, you're criticizing me. You only made 3 All-Star games. I made 5. Yeah, you made 2 all-defensive teams. Guess what? I made 6. You made $100 million. I made $300 million. If that's the standard we're going to have, that's a tough standard. And I've often pointed this out to boxers, and they hate when I say this. When boxers always say, well, you've never boxed, blah, blah, blah. I don't care about your criticism. Every time you tell them, You're right. So every time someone gives you a compliment, do you ask them, well, what are your qualifications to compliment me? It goes both ways. And I have an idea. See, I like what Beverley is doing because he's staying in brand on character. He's an absolute Doberman. I mean, he's a pit bull. He is a tenacious, kind of mean, yet funny guy. He knows what he's doing. It reminds me of Rowdy Roddy Piper, my all-time favorite wrestling heel. Yes, I watched wrestling as a kid. I want to start a show called The Bev Hive, where he basically interviews a player that he may not like in between the halftime of a game, and he just says anything he wants. And I'd love that first guest to be Chris Pylon. I'd go with Pylon more than Cone, and just have at it and let them battle 5 minutes in between a quarter. Because, not the halftime, but in between a quarter, set up a little stage, and it'd be his version of Piper's Pit. To me, that might get me to watch some NBA more again, Jay. I'll be honest with you. That right there.
All right. Do you think it's one thing to come out, guest appearance on Get Up or First Take, you're still in the NBA, but do you think could he be a Charles Barkley type? And again, some people will say no instantly because Charles Barkley was the MVP of the league. Charles Barkley was, 13, 14-time All-Star, played in NBA Finals, whatever. Patrick Beverley doesn't have the credentials to be the next Charles Barkley, but I don't know if it requires those credentials. I don't. Do you think he can sustain this? Or will he fold after Look, Damian Lillard, I think, had put a tweet out criticizing Patrick Beverley, on TV acting like his word law, speaking on private combos and preying on MF's downfall. This weird behavior, shaking my head, I ain't got a horse in the race. That's Damian Lillard. I wonder if he can take this kind of blowback from his peers in the league, or maybe he just doesn't care.
I would hope he doesn't care, but let's go back to what you originally said. Could he be a game analyst for 2.5 hours? Probably not. Certain guys, less is more. If you give us in shot glass, it's like great tequila. Tequila is best served in short little shot glasses. And again, you don't want too much or you wake up with a massive bad hangover. Other guys are like kegs of beer. They're meant to be consumed in large quantities. Like me and you, Jason, people want a whole keg of us. They can't get enough of us. I mean, we should be doing marathons and telethons, right? Patrick Beverley, in small, short doses, 5 to 10 minutes at a time, it can work, and then eventually maybe you expand his role. So again, certain guys are meant to be marathon runners. Other guys are meant to be Usain Bolt sprinters.